Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into on-chain lending. Now, I know it sounds super complex, right? But trust me, at its core, it's a really simple idea, one that could totally change how we borrow and save money. So let's just get straight into it. Okay, so to get us started, let's just do a quick side-by-side. Think about getting a loan. On one side, you've got the old-school bank loan. You know the drill, tons of paperwork, credit checks, and then you wait for days, maybe even weeks, for someone to say yes. But then, look at the other side. This is the DeFi way. We're talking minutes, not weeks. It's all run by code, completely automated. And the best part? It's secured by your digital assets, not some credit score. So, to really get why this is such a big deal, we first have to talk about the system we're all used to, and why, frankly, it's pretty ripe for a big change. For decades, finance has basically been this walled garden, right? It's controlled by these big, centralized institutions. And what does that mean for us? Well, it usually means high fees, painfully slow processes, and you never quite know what's going on behind the scenes. But the biggest problem, the real kicker, is access. For millions, and I mean millions of people across the globe, especially in developing regions, just getting a simple bank account or a loan, it's just not even on the table. But what if you could just get rid of the middleman entirely? What if you could build a whole new financial system from scratch? Well, that's the big, bold idea behind this whole movement called decentralized finance. You've probably heard of it, DeFi. So DeFi uses blockchain technology, the stuff that powers crypto, to build this brand new financial world. And the key here is that it's open, it's transparent, and it's available to literally anyone who has an internet connection. No one can shut the door on you. And the magic that makes all of this work? It's something called a smart contract. And the best way to think about it is like a digital vending machine, but for money. Seriously, you put your crypto in, you press a button for what you want, a loan, whatever, and the machine, the code, just automatically gives it to you. No banker needed, no lawyer, no middleman at all. Okay, so this digital vending machine idea sounds cool, but how does it actually work for something like lending and borrowing? Let's pop the hood and look at the mechanics. It's actually a pretty slick three-step process. So first, you have lenders. These are people who want to earn some interest on their crypto. They deposit their funds into this big shared pot. We call it a liquidity pool. Okay, step two, borrowers. People who need a loan can just tap right into that pool. But, and this is key, they first have to put up their own crypto as collateral. And finally, step three. The borrowers pay interest, right? Well, that interest gets automatically distributed back to all the lenders who put their money in the pool. And the wild part is this whole thing runs 24/7, all managed by that smart contract code. No people involved. But wait a minute, how do you secure a loan if there are no credit checks? Good question. The answer is this really important concept called over-collateralization. See, the system doesn't know you, and it doesn't care about your credit history. So instead, it makes you lock up assets that are worth more than the loan you're taking out. That's what protects the lenders and keeps the whole system stable. Let's put some real numbers on that to make it super clear. Imagine you want to borrow $100. Okay, the protocol might require you to deposit, say, $150 worth of a different crypto as collateral. That extra $50, that's the safety buffer. It makes sure the loan is always covered, even if the market gets a little crazy and prices start to bounce around. And look, this isn't just some theory or a science project. This is happening right now on platforms that have billions, with a B, billions of dollars locked into them. So let's meet a couple of the heavy hitters, the giants who really pioneered this whole space, Aave and Compound. First up, we've got Aave. Fun fact, that's actually Finnish for ghost. And the name kind of fits because they're always appearing with some crazy new innovation, constantly pushing the envelope of what you can even do in DeFi. Aave is probably most famous for inventing something called the flash loan. And this is going to sound nuts. It's a way to borrow millions of dollars with absolutely zero collateral. Now, what's the catch? Well, you have to borrow it and pay it back in the exact same transaction. We're talking a few seconds. It's a tool for super advanced traders to do things like arbitrage. And if for some reason you can't pay it back instantly, the whole thing just reverses itself. Poof, like it never even happened. Mind-blowing, right? All right, next up is Compound. And if you think of Aave as the wild innovator, then Compound is like the super elegant automator. It's a truly foundational protocol, and people love it for its simple, clean, and totally automated way of handling interest rates. The real genius of Compound is its algorithmic interest rates. So instead of a bunch of bankers in a boardroom deciding what the rate should be, Compound just uses a math formula. It's pure supply and demand. If a ton of people want to borrow a certain crypto,
the interest rate goes up automatically. If nobody wants to borrow it, the rate goes down. It creates this beautiful, self-regulating market that just works, all on its own.
Okay, so all of this sounds pretty incredible. And, in a lot of ways, it really is. But we have to be honest here. This is the Wild West. This is the frontier of finance. And with all this cool new innovation comes very, very real risk. And it is absolutely crucial that you understand that before you even think about jumping in.
So yeah, what's the catch here? What are the downsides you really need to be aware of?
All right, the biggest risk by far is just how volatile the market is. Let's walk through an example. Say you put up $2,000 of Ethereum as your collateral. If the price of ETH starts to tank, your loan gets into what's called the danger zone. And if it drops too low, the protocol doesn't wait. It automatically sells your collateral to pay back the loan. That's called a liquidation, and it's brutal. It means you could lose everything you put up in the first place. And it's not just the market you have to worry about. You've got to think about bugs in the smart contract code, flaws that hackers can and do exploit. And remember that phrase, be your own bank? Well, the flip side is that there's no customer service hotline. There's no one to call if you mess up. If you click on a bad link in a phishing scam, or you lose the private keys to your wallet, your money can be gone forever. Okay, so even with those very real risks, and I don't want to downplay them, the potential of this technology is just immense. We're not just talking about a small step forward here. This could be a genuine revolution in how we all think about and use money. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture again. You've got traditional finance on one hand. It's controlled, it's restricted, it's slow. And then you have DeFi, decentralized, open to everyone, and pretty much instant. What we're seeing is the creation of a financial system that is truly global, totally transparent, and never closes. And, this is so much bigger than just being a cool new tech toy for traders. This is really about financial inclusion. Think about the millions of people around the world who don't have a bank account. You see this a lot in places like Nigeria. For them, DeFi isn't just an alternative. It's a direct lifeline to the kinds of financial tools that many of us just take for granted. We're talking about a way to save, a way to actually earn interest, and a way to get a loan when you need one. The thing is, the lines between that old world of finance and this new decentralized one, they're already starting to get blurry. Big institutions are starting to pay attention and get involved. The technology is improving every single day. So that leaves us with this one big, fascinating question to chew on. What happens when these two worlds finally merge? Are we heading for a future where your bank account and your crypto wallet are one and the same?